So you're thinking about moving to Alpharetta, Georgia. Well, you landed on the right video because today we're gonna talk about everything you need to know before you make Alpharetta, Georgia your next home. And stay tuned because I bet you some of these things you had no idea about, or even worse, are going to shock you. Now, Alpharetta, Georgia is very unique in comparison to other local cities because it actually lies in two different counties, one being Forsyth County and one being Fulton County. And that is a big deal when it comes to homes, lifestyle, taxes, and schools between the two. Because Fulton County goes all the way down to Atlanta. It is a big area, but unfortunately the tax rate is a little bit higher than Forsyth County. And not only that, the schools in Forsyth County are ranked a little bit better. So when clients reach out to us and they're like, hey Rob, hey Am, we want to live in Alpharetta, Georgia, our number one question is, well, what part of Alpharetta, Georgia? Because that makes a big difference on what side you live in. Now, Forsyth County has much less inventory when it comes to homes for sale in Alpharetta, but doesn't mean that you can't buy a home there. I think at the end of the day, it really just depends on your lifestyle and what you're looking to do and what your budget is. Not just the budget of the home, but what's that secondary cost going to look like for you.
Yeah, and like Robert said, some of the schools in Fulton County are not ranked as well, but then you also have schools that are directly in Alpharetta that are nationally ranked high schools. So it's such a big county that it kind of throws off a lot of the information you're going to get online. So it's really going to depend on the neighborhood that you select and what school it goes to. And we are going to have, desirable areas, and those are going to affect the cost of your home and the price of what somebody is listing their home at, because there are more desirable places, and everyone knows Fulton County is more expensive. So that's just going to affect those prices. And it also affects some of the congestion. Just going to the DMV to register your car is going to be a lot more difficult in Fulton County than it will be in Forsyth County. And maybe that's not a big deal to you, but we came from an area where you would make an appointment 3 to 4 weeks out and you would still wait 2 hours for your appointment time at the DMV. And this is something we have heard can be a big problem in Fulton County, but we registered in Forsyth County and it took us a total of 8 minutes between the two of us to get our cars registered, and we thought somebody had to be playing a prank on us because we have never been in and out of a DMV so quickly in our entire lives.
Now, if taxes are a big deal for you, this is something you definitely have to pay attention to, especially if you're over 60 years old, and here's why. We had a client who was moving from Alpharetta to another city, and the problem that they had was their taxes were a little too high in Fulton County. Little did they know that if they moved to Alpharetta in Forsyth County, they can actually get an exemption based on their age. And it was a huge savings because they didn't have kids in school. So you didn't have the tax bond that you're going to have in Fulton County, because you can eliminate that in Forsyth County if you have no kids in the household, as long as you're over, I believe it's 65, maybe 62 years old. Definitely something to check in and look into if you are thinking about relocating and you're around that age. Now, Alpharetta, Georgia, in regards to the weather, is very different, not just in the south, but even different than Atlanta, Georgia. Alpharetta, Georgia sits at a higher elevation, so during the summer, it's actually cooler in Alpharetta than it is in Atlanta. And not by much, maybe a couple degrees, but that does help when everyone refers to Atlanta as Hot Atlanta. So in Alpharetta, you're gonna have a little bit of the cool weather. Now, not only do you have the cooler weather in general, you're also gonna have a ton of rainfall and a ton of sunny days all mixed into one, because every single day can have all the weathers, which is just absolutely crazy. We're in Alpharetta, Georgia right now, and as you can see behind us, it looks like that we're in a jungle because of the amount of rain and how much greenery there is from all the natural rain.
Some of our clients were a little bit shocked when they came to visit, realizing, that one day it's sunny and really hot and there's not a lot of cloud coverage. And then the next day, like a day today, there's tons of cloud coverage and the temperature has dropped. We're about 70 degrees today, but you know what? There is a chance of rain later in the afternoon. So that might be something that you are not interested in, is having to have, sweaters in the car, umbrellas in the car, sandals, maybe some rain boots. We kind of keep it all because you never know what's going to happen. And people do say it's a little erratic, but most people tend to love it because, like Robert said, you still can have enjoyable summers, and there's so much going on outdoors here that you do want to spend a lot of time outdoors. So being able to have some nice weather where you're not always freezing or always sweating to death is great for you to be able to enjoy all the family fun that's going on in the city of Alpharetta.
So if you're thinking about moving to Alpharetta, Georgia, it is almost a must-have to download that weather app because you never know what the weather's going to bring you each and every day. And speaking of downloading apps, another app you should download is an allergy season app, because with all the weather and all the rain and all the sun, allergies are a thing here in the South, especially here in Alpharetta. As he said, as we talked about, all the trees behind me, when the trees start growing or they start dying and all the pollen goes in the air, the allergies are going to affect you. Now, there are a lot of different type of allergies based on what you're allergic to: ragweed, pollen, mold, all kinds of things. So before you pack up and decide to make Alpharetta, Georgia your next home, this is something we always recommend to our clients: to download the weather app and download the allergy app.
Speaking of apps, Rob, let's talk about a fun app. I know the weather app and the allergy app are very useful, but this is a fun and useful app that you need to know about before moving here to Alpharetta, Georgia. It is an app called It's My Town, and you will put in your city name, which is Alpharetta, and they have created their own app for their town. And this is so useful, so informational, and full of tons of activities and events that are going on in the city. So Alpharetta loves to be very community oriented, family oriented, and have a lot of things going on for you so that you're never bored where you live. And you may be like, well, where do we find all this information? You can join Facebook groups, you can ask your neighbors, you can ask your local realtors, but you can also have it at your fingertips. And that app is wonderful because not only does it show you all the events going on, but it also shows you the news that's happening in your town. If you have questions about schools or your pets or your car, you can click on certain spots in the app and it'll bring up all of those businesses related to what you are looking for. So this is a great app that's fun and informational, and it's something you definitely want if you're moving here so that you can stay up to date on everything that's going on in your town.
So Alpharetta is a small, tight-knit community, and Alpharetta wants to keep you here in Alpharetta. So this app allows you to see everything that's going on, because here in Alpharetta, you're going to stay busy if you want to stay busy. There are plenty of things to do. And we always tell our clients, if they're thinking about moving to Alpharetta, this is a must do. Download this app because it's going to give you that vibe and give you that lifestyle before you move out here. The next thing that we're gonna talk about when it comes to moving to Alpharetta, Georgia is the food scene. We all gotta eat, I get it. But here in Alpharetta, there are so many options, especially for somebody like Amber, who's got all the food allergies in the world.
Most people don't realize that there's actually over 200 restaurants in Alpharetta, which is a small town. And you may think, okay, yeah, you've got your Chick-fil-A, your McDonald's, your Texas Roadhouse, great. But you know what? You also have so many unique chef-inspired and different cultural cuisine restaurants. There's farm to table. It is amazing what you can get, and most people are worried that they're gonna move to a suburb and they're only gonna get those big name restaurants. And if they wanna have a nice date night, or if there's someone like me with a ton of food allergies and needs some really fresh food, oh, I'm gonna have to drive to the downtown area of Atlanta to get this. Well, you're wrong. It's all right here in Alpharetta, and people rave about the restaurants. We have neighbors who live, we're about 25 minutes from the downtown Alpharetta, and they will drive there once a week for their date nights and they go to the same restaurant over and over because they are obsessed with how fresh and how amazing the food is there. And we've experienced the same thing. We've tried so many things out there, and we could not believe that we could get that in such a small town. And that is super important when you are spending most of your time on the road driving for work. When you come home, you want to be able to have dinner close by. And so this is something that's really important, we know is important to you guys when you're moving, is are you going to have stuff close by that you can eat and enjoy? And the answer is yes. And Alpharetta does it big. They do a Taste of Alpharetta once a year in the summer, or springtime, sorry. And it is a huge festival. There's 40,000 people that come out, and you can try samples from over 60 different local restaurants. They have chef competitions going on that day. We missed it this year. We were at a soccer tournament, but our neighbors went and they brought their kids. There was a kids zone so the kids could play while they were sampling everything, and it was just so great. And once again, another community event, but people rant and rave and go batshit about the restaurants in Alpharetta.
So another thing that I really talk about when it comes to food, and yes, you're right, there are a lot of food options and it's great, but there is one big problem. Everything closes at 9 or 10, maybe 11 o'clock. So if you work a night shift job or you want your fourth dinner like I get every single night, that's gonna be a problem. You're gonna have to go to another city to get food past 10 o'clock, maybe even to Atlanta, maybe somewhere else, but that is a downfall. But Amber, you are right. All the food is super fresh. I enjoy all types of food. So there is definitely endless options here, and I feel healthy about it too. And I think a lot of people here in Alpharetta that have that lifestyle of wanting to eat healthy, be a little bit cleaner as far as what they're consuming, and Alpharetta is going to cover all that.
Moving on to the next thing that you need to know before moving to Alpharetta, Georgia, is that it is dog friendly. You may not all be super excited about this one. We kind of hope you are.
I'm excited about this one.
If you've been watching our videos, you know we have 2 kids and a dog, and our dog goes almost everywhere with us. And we know there's a lot of people out there like us that need to bring their dog everywhere too. And guess what? If you're thinking of Alpharetta and you have a dog, it's definitely going to be a great place for you to bring your dog and your whole family to live.
So earlier we said there's over 200 restaurants, and out of the 200 restaurants, I would say almost half of the restaurants are dog friendly. And I'm not just saying like you can eat outside. I'm talking dog bowls out the front door, treats for the dogs. They probably care more about the dogs than they do their own guests, and that's really the honest opinion. But people love their dogs here in Alpharetta, Georgia, whether it's dog parks or just taking them out and about on the walking trails or out to the restaurants or even to the outdoor mall like the Avalon or the Halcyon, like where we're at right now. And people just love their dogs, which is something that we love to see.
Yeah, there's constantly people walking their dogs. You've seen them behind us in our videos. There's so many trails out there and they're all dog friendly. They have a bunch of dog parks. Some are even off leash, which we know is super important. You need to get out those zoomies and get them to run around. And they even have, this one is really special. It's Fetch Dog Park. It is a social dog park. And when they say social, it's not just for the dogs, it's for the humans as well. It has a bar attached. So you can actually like go and like hang out, get a drink, meet people, talk to people in your community, and your dogs can become best friends too at the same time. They constantly put on events and little parades. There was actually one that just happened yesterday. It was the sign is still up. What is it? The Doodle Doggy Day. So there was like treats and parades and all these fun things. So if you don't have kids and your fur baby is your kid, there's still plenty of events and things going on in the community that you can get involved in. And if you are not a dog person and you hate them and you're terrified, then you definitely don't want to move to Alpharetta, and we will find you another city that will be a little bit more up to your lifestyle and less dogs hanging around you.
All right, let's say that dogs are not your thing, and maybe you're into, I don't know, horses. Well, Alpharetta, Georgia is going to be a fantastic location for you because just minutes from Alpharetta, Georgia, you're going to find plenty of equestrian centers where you can go riding or even keep your horses
Boarded.
Why do I never remember that? And so you have that really close by. So very rarely do you get all the shopping, all the dining, and all the things going on in Alpharetta, Georgia, yet you still have close proximity to all the horses.
Yeah, this is a hidden gem feature of Alpharetta, something you need to know before moving if you have your own horses, or if you don't have horses but your kids are interested in lessons, or you yourself do riding. This is something to know because from the outside looking in, Alpharetta is very high town shopping, luxury, a big tech hub, all these things that don't make you think that there is actually going to be farms and pastures and equestrian centers. But there are certain pockets where you can live close to the border of Alpharetta and Milton and be really close to all that stuff, or buy a house in Milton that's going to give you all that acreage. Robert's mom owns horses and she boards them, and she's in another state, but
she cares more about her horses than she does about me. I'm just gonna say, I think
they're expensive. They are. But she hates that where they live, it's so far from big things. Like, she loves to go bowling with her husband, and it is an hour away from her. That's nowhere close. And they have maybe a total of 20 restaurants in the small town they live in. So this is something that is so beneficial. If you are somebody who loves to be close to all the activities and be able to do that, but hey, on the weekends, I want to run over and jump on my horse and go on some trails, you can just go right next door to Milton, maybe a 20-minute drive, and be able to get the best of both worlds. So this is something that we thought was really important because we do have a lot of clients that are moving here that want to bring their horses with them or still be involved in that horse equestrian lifestyle, and they ask us, is there anything close, or are we gonna have to live way in the outskirts? So this is something we know you need to know before moving here, is that yes, you can still get an equestrian lifestyle while being in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Now let's talk about something that every single one of our clients is paying for every single month, and it hasn't failed yet, and that's high-speed internet. Here in Alpharetta, Georgia, it is a tech hub for a lot of different companies. So with that comes high-speed internet. And not only do you have it for the tech companies, you have it at home. With the AT&T Fiber or the Xfinity, you have fast internet speeds of 1 gig. I think they're even working on a 5 gig as well. So that is super important because there are cities and suburbs here in Georgia, even though it's 2025 rolling into 2026, that don't have high-speed internet. So if you have kids that have the Switch and the iPads and the phones and everything else that these kids have, you've gotta have high-speed internet. And that's exactly what you're going to find here in Alpharetta, Georgia. And it's not just at home, and it's not just at these tech companies, but it's also at the public locations, like here at the Avalon and the Halcyon. They have high-speed internet as Wi-Fi, which is great. So if you work from home and you want to get away from the home office, you can come out here, have some lunch, have a beer, and I'm not saying drink while you're working, but if you are, you're gonna be able to have high-speed internet, which is key when it comes to relocating.
Yes, a lot of people don't realize too that when you work for a tech company, a lot of them are located right in the downtown of these big cities like Atlanta, and that may not be the type of lifestyle that you want to live, especially if you want a single family home and you want some space and some backyard. That's not feasible because you don't want to be making that drive every day to these downtown areas. So Alpharetta is a hidden little gem. It supports 700 tech businesses and startup companies, and a lot of them hold office space in Alpharetta. So a lot of our clients are super excited to relocate here. Their job sometimes is moving them, and they tell us, hey guys, we're so excited. We're gonna get the opportunity to live a suburban lifestyle by still working for this big tech company that we've been with for years, but we've been in a city that we don't really enjoy or love. So this is something that people are really excited about, and you can't really get this in a lot of states. So we're a very unique city here that supports these tech jobs and supports it with all the infrastructure behind it as well.
That is a great point, Amber, because we were doing some research on where most of our clients are coming from. We get clients from New York, we get clients from California, but it was quite surprising to get clients from Austin and Seattle, and come to find out, they're moving for the tech companies. So people who are moving from data hubs such as those places, if you're moving somewhere where the internet's not so good, you're definitely not going to enjoy your life, and you're going to be hearing your kids complain about how slow and how laggy the internet is.
Or they're taking up your time from work because they have 15 devices going, and you're like, I'm just trying to get on a work call here. What is happening?
Now, one thing you must know about Alpharetta, Georgia is you need a car. There are a lot of areas that are that work from home, work-life balance, being able to do things and walk to the restaurant, but not everywhere in Alpharetta. Sometimes the schools you gotta drive to, sometimes your work you gotta drive to, the grocery stores. So we say that because the walkability through the city of Alpharetta can be nice in certain subdivisions, but for the most part, you're going to need a car. And we do say that because a lot of people move to Alpharetta because they're looking for that fun life entertainment where they live in the community, where they can walk down to the restaurant, walk down to the movie theater. And yes, there is that. But like I said, for the most part, you're going to need to own a car. Now, with that, I also want to bring in one last thing, and that is the presence of police officers. There are police officers everywhere in Alpharetta PD, which is a great thing. But when I'm talking about cars and driving, just make sure you drive safe, drive careful. There are a lot of people here in Alpharetta who are walking, who are biking to work, so they do have a high presence of police officers, which, like I said, could be a pro or a con depending on how you're looking at it. Now, if you're thinking about moving to Alpharetta, Georgia, or any of the suburbs north of Atlanta, we would absolutely love to be your go-to real estate agents. We've been in the business for a little over 10 years, and we get calls from people just like you who are thinking about relocating. So before you move and before you decide to make Alpharetta or North Atlanta, Georgia your home, make sure you give us a call, because we're going to be able to help you and pinpoint you in a location based on a lifestyle that you're looking for. Until the next video, you guys take care.